My name's Nick. Welcome to the Rig and Farm YouTube channel. I'm doing this live introduction to our brand new steer, Derby. He is the first of many cattle we'll be getting here on the farm. We're supposed to be getting his mom actually pretty soon, so we're really excited about that. Derby is half Angus, 1/4 Dexter, and 1/4 Jersey cow. So the Jersey is primarily a dairy breed, but they make the best, most well-marbled beef, surprisingly. Um, Dexters are a dual-purpose animal. That's actually what we want to get into as our primary cattle. Dexters are really great for beef, and they're great for dairy. They're also really good as oxen. So if you need to pull any Conestoga wagons or anything like that and need to make the Oregon Trail, that's a great breed. Um, so he is 1/4 Dexter. So we're pretty excited to see that part of his personality coming through. He is half Angus. So his story is that his mother was a commercial dairy cow. And in order for a cow to be in milk, they need to breed them occasionally. And the easiest and most cost-effective breed for that is Angus. Angus is the most plentiful due to clever marketing. And because it's so plentiful, it's actually the cheapest of all of the inseminate that you would use to impregnate a cow. And one thing that is really good about Angus is that they have a very low birth weight. So it's really easy on the cows, even if they themselves are not Angus. Even a really small breed cow can give birth to an Angus baby because of that low birth weight. So with that said, Angus are also a very large breed. So this guy right here is only about 5 months old, and he's well over 500 pounds. We don't know how big he's going to get over the next year, but we will. We don't have a scale on our farm. We're probably not going to be getting one. Definitely not anytime soon. But the ranch we got him from is actually they do have a scale. They're able to weigh him. They have a lot more cattle than we do, just the one. So we're going to be getting his mom really soon. She was actually given some AI for a Dexter baby. So her being a Belfair, she is half Dexter and half Jersey. So the baby that she produces once she's confirmed pregnant and delivers and everything will be 3/4 Dexter and 1/4 Jersey. And we'll bring that. We're actually getting her hopefully by the end of this month once they do confirm that she is in fact pregnant. So we'll have a dairy cow that is in milk. So that'll be really exciting because we'll be able to start having raw milk for ourselves, but also we'll be able to supply raw milk for our local community. So if you are local to North Georgia, the Talking Rock, Jasper, Blue Ridge area, even a little further south, like Ball Ground, Woodstock, Canton, we'll have some really good quality dairy, raw milk for you guys. As you can see, he is being fed some grain. We do not feed any corn or soy on our farm. When you hear about the bad part of grain-fed meat, it's due to the corn and soy that they're being fed. So this is made with some wheat and rice, but it's got a lot of alfalfa in it. That is the primary source of protein. And alfalfa is a legume that's often found in fields. We will be trying to seed some alfalfa in our pasture at some point soon so that we don't have to supplement with feed. We're going to try to get a really nice, diverse forage so that we can be 100% pasture raised, no additional feed necessary. Not only is it better for your budget, but it actually produces a better quality product, and it's much better for the environment. Something that we're trying to do here on Rig and Farm is improve soil health. Believe it or not, these guys right here, cattle, can be the solution to global warming. Whether or not you believe in a man-made climate change is irrelevant. The fact that we are tearing up our planet for row crops is undisputed. Anytime you till, you are releasing. Hi, Catherine Lopez. anytime you till or leave bare soil, it ends up killing all of the microorganisms that cannot otherwise survive the heat and sun and light that happens when you don't have adequate coverage. So when you have a pasture that is rotationally grazed very frequently, every day, every other day, sometimes even a couple times a day, what ends up happening is you are lowering the soil temperature so that the microorganisms that actually promote the health of the plants, they'll help bring in more carbon from the atmosphere and into the soil, which will help with a multitude of things. Water retention is one thing. So by doing really great pasture management, you can help prevent erosion and build topsoil. Um, and it's really cool because basically doing it this way, you're mimicking what was done for thousands and thousands of years with the buffalo in the North American plains. The buffalo would eat a little bit and then they'd move on to the next area. They would never completely overgraze one area the way that traditional cattle farming is done in the United States and many other parts of the world. So by moving them very frequently, you never let them overgraze, leaving the roots of the grasses and legumes and other forage very long, because the roots often mimic the size of the grass. So if you have grass that is 12 inches tall, the roots are going to be about 12 inches deep. If you have grass that is cut down to half an inch, whether by mower, other mechanical purposes, or even one of these guys right here, or a goat or sheep, um, when the roots are, or the grass is really short, the roots are really short, which makes them less drought tolerant, and then they're more likely to die. And then that's when farms have to spend more money in seed and they have to fertilize because the roots aren't long enough to get all of the nutrients down into the soil the way a really healthy pasture can. As you can see here, Derby, the steer, does not like Curry, the goat. He says, "This is my breakfast. You leave me alone." So Derby has only been on our farm for 5 days now. He's warmed up pretty nicely to me. It doesn't hurt that I've been feeding him. He does like food, don't we all? But he's pretty good. He usually lets me pet him, and he'll let me scratch his back. Haven't tried to scratch his belly yet. He was recently banded, so we're waiting for his scrotum to fall off and heal up. So I'm trying to avoid that area right now because it's probably a little sensitive, and I want to try to make him as comfortable as possible while he's here on the farm. Curry, on the other hand, was not banded. He's fully intact. We got him when he was 6 days old, and thought he was so cute that we would try to breed him. And we've had multiple female goats here on the farm, and he has never once successfully bred any of them. So we're going to try again some other time. We'll get some different goats. Maybe he'll like them better. So if you're just now joining us, the title of this video is Meet Derby the Steer. This is Curry the goat. That is Derby the steer. He is a little over 500 pounds at only 5 months old. He is half Angus, a quarter Dexter, and a quarter Jersey. His mom is a Belfair. We'll be getting her later this month. We're really excited about that. And the reason we haven't gotten cattle sooner, because we've been living on our farm for a little over 3 years now, the reason we had not gotten cattle sooner was because we didn't have a good place to keep them. We have lots of land. We have 25 acres, but that isn't good enough. You need some fencing. So we've been working on this fencing for the last several months, and it has been quite a project. We got this 1.5 acre paddock finished up a little over a month ago, if I remember correctly. Yes, this is where they live. So we have Derby, Curry, and then we also have 6 sheep that are currently on this 1.5 acre pasture, and we have another 8 acre pasture that we're currently fencing in, and that should be done by the end of this month. So the plan is that they'll stay here for a little while. They're going to continue to eat all of this stuff. I'm going to walk over here and show you what else I've been feeding them. Derby may decide to follow. Sometimes he will do that. He really likes that back corner there. Hopefully when we bring his mom in here, he will be a little more outgoing. I'm sure he misses her. He's only been away from her for a little over a week. Because where we got him from, they separated him and his mom a few days before we got him, just to try to make the transition a little easier. So a lot of this growth is not ideal forage, but as you can see from all of the stems that have been stripped, the sheep and goats have not minded at all. So I'm not even sure what kind of weed this is, but they've eaten a bunch of it. We did bring in our very first bale of hay, so we got a 5 by 4 foot round bale of hay that we took up to the very top of the hill and removed the netting that holds it in place and rolled it down the hill. So that one bale of hay stretched over 400 feet before it finally terminated right here at the bottom of the hill. You can probably see the sheep up there napping in the sun after eating a bunch of hay. Let me see if I can zoom in, see them a little bit better. So they're up at the top. You can see there's another gate at the very top of the hill. Let me put this down. And then we also have a gate down here at the bottom of the hill. So one of the things that I've done to prep the 8 acre pasture is I've put down about 100 pounds of ryegrass seed. That's an annual ryegrass. Now, ryegrass is very fast to germinate, and it will survive really cold temperatures. It doesn't like the heat, which is why you don't plant it in summer or spring. But you can get really good forage for your animals. It's really nutritious, and it is an annual, so it won't come back after it's been munched down. But if it gets tall enough to go to seed, it can plant seeds for the following season. So I've put a bunch of that in various areas, primarily areas that still have some dormant grass. So kind of like areas like this, where there's some ground cover, the seeds have a place to go, and a little bit of mulch, because they do not like the heat. Ryegrass typically goes dormant when it hits about 65, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and 95 will completely kill it. It can apparently, once it's germinated and it's established, it can survive like -15 degrees without dying, which is pretty cool. Another reason it's called winter rye. So I'm going to try to keep the animals in here for a couple months. Well, I guess another month and a half or so before moving them into the bigger paddock, because I really want that ryegrass to be established and just provide some more forage, because they do have that other 8 acres looks a lot like this with even more trees. So there's not a great deal of good quality forage, which is one of the reasons we brought in the hay, and we will continue to do that for a little while. Hopefully in the next few years, as we continue to build really good quality soil and we bring in a little bit of pasture seed, we'll bring in some more fescue, and we'll do some clover, and we'll try to do some alfalfa, some orchard grass, maybe some timothy grass. I'm just trying to provide several different species of forage so that the animals have a good variety in their diet. Just like with humans, eating the same thing over and over again isn't necessarily going to be the healthiest thing for an animal. Like kale, like whether you like it or not, most of us probably agree, unless you're a strict carnivore, that kale is a very nutritious food. It's considered a superfood by many. I personally like it a lot. So I think it's very versatile, good stuff. But if you were to eat only kale and kale alone, you would not be very healthy. Just because it is good for you doesn't mean it's the only thing you should eat. A very well-balanced and varied diet in humans and animals is necessary for optimal health. So by providing a really good quality nutrition in the way of forage, we will be able to minimize the amount of external goods being brought in to sustain our cattle operation. The plan is to do AMP grazing. If you're not familiar with AMP grazing, it stands for adaptive multi-paddock grazing. So what that means is you have multiple paddocks, and they're not fixed. You use a portable electric wire that you move daily, every other day, a couple times a day, depending on your operation. And by doing that, it forces the animals into a relatively small area. When I say relatively small, I mean they're not confined to uncomfortable spaces by any means, but they're just in an area, like for example, this, from one end of the fence to that end of the fence, it is about 220 feet. So 220 feet, and then if we were to go maybe another 20 feet that way, if we were to put up a wire, an electric wire to keep the animals contained into this one section, that is still a lot of space for just a few animals. And it would be able to, it would kind of force them into eating all of the stuff that's in that area. Kind of like if you are given you give a child free reign of the buffet and you don't give them any kind of boundaries, they're probably going to go straight for the dessert. Same thing with cattle and other grazing animals. If you give them huge open pasture, they're going to go for the stuff that is most palatable to them. Not necessarily the most nutritious, but what is most palatable. So by putting them in a relatively small area for one day, if they're hungry, and they will be, they will eat what's available to them. And then the next day you move them another section. So they're again kind of forced to eat what's available. And then the next day you move them to the next section. So when you do that, you are able to eat down like the tall weeds and stuff like we have here, and the grasses underneath it that are really short and just germinating will have time to germinate, because ideally you're going to give each section of pasture 45 to 60 days minimum of rest before bringing the animals back to that one section. So it's just a really cool way to manage your animals with just dedicating a little bit of your time and very little money into a grass-fed beef operation. So Derby looks like he's about done with his treat that I brought him. Derby, you want to come say hi to the camera? Derby, come here, buddy. He's getting the last few crumbs in there. Can't say that I blame him. That alfalfa and other good stuff in those pellets. And the minerals, he knows he needs those. Oh, here he comes. Hey, buddy. He's a sweet boy. Yes, he is. Look at that sweet boy. What do you think? Oh, he's taking a tinkle break. Well, currently we don't have any live viewers, so it works out pretty well that this is your potty break. All right, Derby. You ready to say goodbye? All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you are watching this after the live stream, I appreciate you going nearly 20 minutes into this video. We will be posting a lot more going forward about our cattle operation for beef and dairy, and also the grazing. And we'll be talking about the progress of our fence on all of our social media platforms. And if you're interested in how to get all of this fencing for free, like we did, you'll definitely want to subscribe to the channel and comment and let us know. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.